So this is us today. We want to discuss a recent occurrence on the internet, which would be counted as actually. Would you count this as brain rot?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Well, I think it is brain rot, but a very interesting type of brain rot. But we're going to go into that a bit later. So, first, let's give a little recap. Although I don't think anyone on the planet has missed what happened. I mean, I today I even spoke to my father, who is not on TikTok, and he knew he knew everything about it.
No, please.
So,
He lives on Mars.
are you going to do the recap or should I?
I am not as academically familiar with it as you are, so please go ahead.
Yes, brain rot is my academic field of research and interest. So, of
Yeah,
course, I
your
would gladly
PhD.
provide you.
PhD.
I have a PhD in brain rot. So, a very quick recap. If anybody wasn't on the planet in the last 48 hours or so, there was a Coldplay concert in Boston. And apparently, because I mean, I like some of Coldplay songs, but I'm not really acquainted with the concerts. But apparently, they have something like a kiss cam. There's this jumbotron cam, and at some point in during the concert, they pointed at different people, and the frontman, the lead singer, he interacts with the people and he sings something especially for them. And apparently this happens during all concerts, so it's not a new thing. It's not something unexpected, at least for people who like the band and have watched concerts. So
So
during,
wait a second. So
yeah,
the couple that went there, they went there knowing that it could potentially happen to them.
that's what I was wondering. So I was wondering if they just decided on random to go to this concert and they knew nothing about the concerts and not much about the band, because this is the only thing that would explain why would they go in the first place. Because if they knew that this is happening, like why would you do that? But anyway, we're getting
Yeah.
ahead of ourselves. Yeah. So basically, the concert comes to the point where they're using the kiss cam, the jumbotron, and first they show other people in the audience, and suddenly the camera falls on two lovebirds hugging it out. And they're watching the screen, and the moment they see themselves on this huge screen, they're mortified. They're mortified. The man ducks. He ducks. And I don't know if he walked out of frame or if he just squatted and
I
he
think he
lied
did
low.
both. It's like he
Yeah.
like bowed down and then walked to the side.
Yes,
Like
very gentlemanly of him. And the woman, of course, she was left standing there, so she just
left her in the
turned her
foreground.
back on the camera. And and also, just to mention that there was this other woman next to them. I'm going to go in more detail a bit later about her, what I found about her. But there's this other woman that is looks very embarrassed, like she's in the know. So, anyways, the camera lands on them. Man ducks, woman tries to hide and pretend she's not there. And the Coldplay's lead singer, Chris Martin, I think he was, and he clocks it right there. He's like, "Oh, you're either having an affair or you're very, very shy," which is amazing. Like,
I
props
wonder if
props to him.
I wonder if he knew the drama that was gonna unfold from this. Would he have done it anyway?
I think he wouldn't have, but I don't know. I mean, I don't really know him. Maybe he loves the drama, but I feel
It's
like
like it's like he put gasoline on the fire.
yeah. The beauty of this situation is that it was all a very bad series of coincidences that led to this disaster. So after that, somebody, who was at the concerts uploads the video of these two people acting weirdly. And from what I've heard, I cannot really verify that, but from what I've heard, 17 minutes after the uploading of the video, these people were identified, which is scary and impressive. And so turns
The
out,
internet police got him.
yeah, the internet police is actually doing a better job than like
Than the actual
the
police.
actual police. Yeah. So turns out the man is Andy Byron, and he's the CEO. Was the CEO, might I add?
Yeah, I heard he quit today. Yeah.
Yeah, was the CEO of a data company which is called Astronomer, and his companion was head of HR, or chief people officer, as they like to call it.
She was
Eh,
the HR of the company.
She was the head of HR. So she was, can you imagine? She was responsible for the good conduct of people working in the company.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is wrong.
It's like Hitler had an affair with Göring.
Yeah, exactly. And this is wrong on so many levels. But yeah, so Andy Byron and then his mistress or side piece. And next to them, the woman that was laughing really in a really embarrassed way. Some people say that this is actually a colleague of theirs, and she was actually in the know, and she was a friend of the woman, the head of HR, and she was promoted. So she was very invested in the situation.
So she was
And
the pimp, basically.
yeah, the pimp, or I don't know, like an accomplice, but
The enabler.
the enabler, yeah. But then the company Astronomer said in their statement that this is not a woman that works for them. So I don't know what is true. Whatever. This is basically what happened. And so how did you find out about it?
I found out about it because I got like, you know how the past few days I was like going up on Instagram and TikTok to publish my paintings?
Uh-huh.
And every single time I opened each of the apps, I get the picture of these two idiots in my feed. And I saw that he was like holding her in his arms or whatever, and they were like
Mm-hmm.
lovebirds or something. But I gave like zero fucks what all of this was about because they were like, I could see that it was like on memes, not just a picture, but they were using it already as memes.
Yeah,
Uh,
the mimification happens very fast nowadays, you know.
yeah, it was memified exactly. And
Mm-hmm.
I did not care enough to like look into it or like read the descriptions. I could only see that it was fucking everywhere across the internet. And
Mm-hmm.
was like, what the hell is happening? Who the fuck are these people? And why should I be seeing this everywhere? I thought it was like some kind of a politician or whatever, or
Mm-hmm.
someone that's famous that I've never heard about before. And then I found out it was just some company and some CEO and some HR. I was like, who the fuck cares and why is this so much in the news?
This is the interesting part that before, like, popular scandals were always had to do with celebrities, or
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
politicians, people who are public figures. And suddenly, in maybe the last few years, this has actually changed, and random people can become viral with or without their consent and desire in a matter
Yeah,
of
yeah.
hours, even minutes, maybe. Which is a very interesting development, in my opinion. And we can talk later about if that's actually justifiable or not, because I've heard some interesting opinions on both sides. Some people say that this is not okay, this is a private matter, and some people even claim that this thing opened the doors for instilling like surveillance state, like in communist times, where people tell on each other, like neighbors tell on each other, which I can see where they're going and where they're coming from. But at the same time, I think this situation is different because
It's different in that it's stupid because when the Communist Party surveils people, it does so for actions that might be taken as something you do against the government.
yeah,
And these are just fucking with each other.
literally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about how things developed. So this happened at the concert. Then after the concert, it was uploaded in a matter of 17 minutes. The people in it were identified, and I really wonder. I bet if the CEO actually came back home that night, I bet he had a very interesting conversation with his wife, which is actually the next development. I think the next day his wife dropped his last name on
Oh, did
Facebook.
she?
Yeah. So
Oh, on
the
Facebook, not legally.
well,
Okay.
the divorce is imminent by this point, and which there was something that I don't really find okay. So people were flooding her Facebook page with comments about her husband cheating, which I mean, it's a bit too much. The CEO, I don't know if you've heard the lore about him. Again, I'm not exactly
No.
sure how if that's true or not, because there are constantly new pieces of information coming out and it's hard to verify them. But there was this person on TikTok that claimed that he was working for Andy Byron in his previous company. And he says that Andy Byron was a very charming boss. He was in the company with a few other investors, and he actually
And they had
convinced.
orgies.
No, I mean, they could have, but they didn't include the person in the TikTok. But he said that he convinced the employees to actually invest in the company. And then when the company actually failed, the CEO and the other investors, they just went away on their golden parachutes, as he told it. And actually, the employees, most of them lost their savings. And the person said that this cost him his savings, his mental health. He almost got a divorce. You know, his wife divorced him. So he says that if this is true, he is a toxic person, a toxic boss, and on top of
Yeah.
he's cheating, and on top of that, he has the audacity to bring his side piece to a concert. Because like, come on, if he actually, you know, usually people do these things in hotels or like, I don't know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
something
mean,
like
it's not
that.
like they were having sex at the concert. They were
Well,
like
yeah, but
out and about together.
can you imagine? I'm not sure who actually initiated this, but imagine you okay, imagine if it was the woman. So she goes to the CEO and she's like, "Oh, you know, there's this Coldplay concert which I would really like to go to. Let's go." And he's like, "Oh, honey, I don't know. Don't you think it's a little bit risky? You know, because somebody can see us." And she's like, "Oh,
Mm.
no, there gonna be so many people. Nobody."
Oh, but
It's
the
like
thing
this
about this,
meme. Nobody's gonna know. They're
nobody's gonna
gonna
know. Yeah.
know.
The thing about this now is, in terms of context, you can probably dig up all kinds of side context on these people
Oh yeah.
and see if they're generally good people or bad people, regardless of all of this, regardless of all context. Do I think that someone needs to be harassed online publicly because he's having an affair? Yes, and I'm like, no. This is
No,
nobody's
not
fucking
really.
business. You can have sex with whoever you want, even if you're married, because you might have an unhappy marriage or whatever. Your
Well,
wife might be a
yeah.
bitch.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can do the decent thing and divorce your wife and then do whatever you want. So, you know, I'm not supporting doxing people. I'm not supporting harassing people. At the same time, this is a very interesting situation because I feel like what happened solely due to the stupidity of these two people. Because first,
Yeah,
they go to this very public concert. Secondly, and these are all the people are talking about this. They really fumbled it. They
yeah, yeah, yeah,
could have acted nonchalantly and just wave at the camera or even kiss. And you know, it maybe it would have gotten to the wife or the husband because apparently the woman is also married, or I'm not entirely sure, but they say she's married too. So
Mm.
they might find out eventually, but it wouldn't have been such a big deal and nobody would pay attention. But they drew
yeah, yeah.
attention. They Barbara Streisand themselves, basically. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I think as for the Barbara Streisand thing, even if they hadn't like ducked and if they hadn't like become panicked or whatever, even if they reacted calmly and tried to bluff out of it,
Hmm.
I think there would have been people who knew who the fuck they were, and it would have gotten out eventually. But it wouldn't have
Eventually,
been
yeah.
that publicly. Yeah, it wouldn't have been that public. There wouldn't have been this kind of backlash because they tried to hide it so brutally.
Exactly. You know, in the case of Barbara Streisand, actually, I recently I rewatched the story because I've forgotten it. So it turns out that when the photographer who photographed her house, and not he didn't intend to photograph her house specifically. It was for a different purpose. But before she sued him, the picture was downloaded by 6 people, 2 of which were Barbara Streisand's lawyers. And after she sued him, it was thousands of times, thousands of downloads, So this is what happens. I mean, of course, people might have seen them, people who know them, and this would have gotten out eventually, as you say, but it wouldn't have been such a public thing. But
Exactly. It wouldn't have exploded so much.
exactly. So, but before we continue with the discussion of whether it's ethical for these things to happen, whether it's puritanical, even, I just want to mention the reactions. So,
Mhm.
there is something very funny which I've noticed in recent years globally in the world and in Bulgaria too, and which is that people seem to be just having a lot of creative, energy. And when something happens, something ridiculous happens, it's like everybody is starting to pour this creative energy into memes and jokes and
Yeah.
pictures and
Yeah.
so on. And it's really actually, it's actually fun. I think it's like a joint effort. I find it really cool. And so I found some really funny memes about it. So one of the memes was, each year there has to be a sacrifice. There has to be a CEO, one CEO sacrificed. And so they
Oh
put
yeah, I saw this one.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
with
Luigi
Luigi.
drama, the
Yeah.
what was the Titanic Gate? No, Titan Gate. I think it was
The Titan sub explosion,
yeah, the
implosion.
Titan. Yeah, exactly. And then this one. So this was very funny. Also, there were these videos on TikTok in which people were giving ideas of how they should have played it off. So there was this
This is nice.
yeah. So one of the options was for them to pretend that they were doing a Heimlich maneuver. No, just
That would have been awesome.
yeah. And there was also like
Mm.
for the man to pretend he's a robber and he's trying to kidnap the woman. Oh, they were so much fun. I love them.
You know what I love about the situation particularly,
Hmm.
and this is gonna sound maybe a bit ageist. I don't know,
Hmm.
but anyways, usually when you get this kind of an online stupidity circus, it's usually done by like young people, like TikTokers or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck they are. And in this case, it's like two old fucks who
Yeah.
wanted who were having an affair, which goes to show you that you don't need youth to be stupid.
Oh no,
You can be stupid at any point in life
life. You know?
and make a fool of
Absolutely.
yourself completely.
I think they just underestimated the power of the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
And could you
And you
imagine,
know,
like, they were going, they were leaving the concert, and he's trying to calm her down. He's like, "Oh, it's okay. Just a few people saw it, but it's no big deal." And, the next day she wakes up,
it's the whole fucking
it's
planet.
all over.
When I saw
Yeah.
the video for the first time, it was like it gave me so much of a painful cringe
A secondhand
because I
embarrassment.
yeah, because I know the feeling. It's not like I've never been caught in like affairs or whatever,
Hmm.
but I've had the feeling of like, for example, if you if you happen to like be in public and let's say you let out a fart without wanting to do it, then people start looking at you and you try to pretend as if you were not the one who did it. And you try to like do all kinds of facial expressions and try to pretend like nothing happened and you
Or
like
you
keep
look
talking or
around,
whatever.
right? You're
You
looking
look around,
around
yeah,
for the perpetrator.
yeah. And it reminded me of this feeling that I've had before in my life.
Yeah, what's interesting is I've never been in such a situation, but I was
You
also
never found it in public.
I meant the CEO cheating scandal.
Okay.
I don't think I I don't think I farted in public, but who knows? My brain may have blocked it. Anyways, so what I mean is, I've never been in such a situation. At the same time, somehow I was able to very easily put myself into their shoes. And it was so easy for me to imagine the mortification.
Yeah,
You could see it
yeah,
in their eyes. They were
yeah.
looking like,
The pain and the
"Oh
suffering.
fuck, yeah." What else? Of course, again, in recent years, brands also jump in on every opportunity. So there were some funny posts by different brands. For instance, there was one by Ryanair, and they wrote like Ryanair and Coldplay splitting couple. Because Ryanair, from what I've heard, if you buy two tickets, for instance, for you and another person, and you want to sit together, you have to pay extra. So this is the butt of the joke here. um,
Wait, but was this actually Ryanair making
Oh
an
yeah,
ad
yeah.
out of this?
That's what in recent years I think brands realize that they have to jump in on the social media train. So they're constantly leaving witty comments, or when there's a certain trend or like a situation like this, so they just usually say something about it. And so Tide actually said we can't clean this up. Paramount posted the video of the a video from Titanic with Jack and Rose on the which is very funny.
I mean, is this not like a little bit, maybe kind of ethically and legally questionable? Because these are like entities, these are companies. It's not like
It is
random people
it
on the
is
internet.
questionable. I think that, and this could be a whole video in itself. Brands are playing into the parasocial relationships that people form with influencers and so on. They're playing into this because before a brand would never actually say something like that. But now they see that this brings engagement and people are enjoying this. So they're doing it. And I don't think, I mean, you could argue that ethically it's not okay because they're an entity and so on. But generally, I don't think they can be sued because he was not caught, on the balcony of a room
Yeah,
or
well, it was a
something. Yeah,
public event.
it was a
Yeah,
public event. And can you imagine if he has to sue like the millions of people who posted about this event?
to make fun of him.
Yeah, this would be
Yeah,
impossible.
I mean, my conclusion on this is again, it's funny, it's ridiculous, it's stupid, and nice to talk about. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's not morally correct to
Hmm.
just, judge people for having affairs. Because, first of all, this is something personal. Their marriage is personal, their affair is personal. Nobody knows the exact context of the situation, and nobody knows their familial bonds or whatever. Nobody knows why this happened, how it happened. And the thing is, nobody has the right to like jump into it and express their opinions. This
Hmm.
is a sheer personal relationship situation. And I
Yeah,
don't see how anyone can judge them for having an affair or whatever. Yes, they handled it pretty badly. They were really looking stupid, but still, it's nobody's business.
I agree with you, and this ties into this idea that there should be some boundaries. I don't condone what he did, the fact that he cheated, and so on. I mean, this is not okay by my principles. At the same time, as you said, this is a private matter. We don't know the context of the situation. We don't know anything about these people. So it's not our place to jump and insert ourselves into this situation. And when you're a celebrity, you pretty much sign your private life. You sign it away, and people are allowed. Again, I think there should be some boundaries there too. But people are allowed to comment on your personal life. But I think when
Yeah.
you're a private person, this is not okay because even if we say that morally, let's assume that we're aware of the context. There's not anything more we need to know. The situation is straightforward. Morally, you could say that he deserves it, right? But where do we end this? Like somebody can take a video of you passing by a homeless person, for instance, who is begging for money, and then, for instance, edit it or even just comment on it. And by the grace of the algorithm, you could, go to thousands of people, and thousands of people start judging you or even sending you, for instance, threats or inserting yourselves into your life. I mean, it's not the greatest example, but that's what I mean. It's a
Yeah,
very fine
yeah.
line.
It's a very fine line. So at the end of the day, it's none of our business to meddle in their love affair. At the same time, how can you be so fucking stupid as to go out with your lover publicly
Hmm.
and risk this kind of thing? So the problem is on both sides.
Yeah.
The internet is a cesspit, and they're idiots. I mean, the two people who got caught.
Yeah, I agree with your verdict. And I just think that maybe the internet should have stopped at, aha, okay, so he's married, she's married, they're having an affair, haha, this is ridiculous. And they should have stopped there. The constant updates, if he's resigned, if he's divorced, and so on, the personal information, the personal photos, this is too much.